Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on something pretty cool, a kind of digital magic. We're talking about an automated system that's like this invisible, super efficient mailroom that can blast out thousands of event invites, all from a single email.
Okay, so let's just start with a problem. I'm pretty sure some of you out there have felt this pain. You've just organized this massive event, right? Maybe it's a huge webinar or an all-hands meeting for the whole company. And now, you've got to invite thousands of people. Just the thought of manually creating and sending every single one of those invites, yeah, it's a total nightmare.
I mean, really think about it for a second. We're talking hours, maybe even days of just mind-numbing, tedious work. You're staring at these endless spreadsheets. You're copy-pasting email addresses one by one. And the potential for a mistake? It's huge. Just one little typo and boom, a VIP guest doesn't get their invite. It's this high-stress, low-reward job that is practically screaming for a better solution. So what if you could just ditch that whole manual process completely? What if you could take all that boring work and just replace it with one single, simple action? Well, that is exactly what this system we're talking about is built for. See, the solution isn't to just throw more people at the problem. No, it's about building one smart, automated machine to handle the whole thing. All right, so let's get into the solution itself. It's often called something like a calendar invite server. A good way to think of it is like your own personal automated event coordinator. Seriously, its one and only job is to get a request from you and then just flawlessly send out this massive wave of personalized invitations. Okay, and here's what makes this whole thing so powerful. The real secret sauce is that it's not one giant monolithic program. No way. Instead, a better way to picture it is like a team of highly specialized cloud services. Each one has a very specific job to do, and they all work together in, well, perfect harmony. So let's meet the team, shall we? You've got AWS Lambda. That's the brain of the operation, the one making all the decisions. Then there's Amazon S3, which is basically the digital filing cabinet. It's where the attendee list is stored. DynamoDB, that's your security guard, super strict, checking the list to see who's allowed to even make a request. Then you have Amazon SNS, which is kind of like an internal courier service, lining up all the invites to be delivered. And last but not least, Amazon SES. That's the post office that actually sends everything out into the world. Okay, so to really get the magic here, we've got to see how all these pieces actually work together. So let's do that. Let's follow a single request and watch it travel through this high-tech assembly line. We're going to see how it goes from just one simple email to thousands of invites. And you're not going to believe this, but this whole powerful process gets kicked off by something super, super simple. An authorized organizer, somebody on the approved list, just writes an email, they attach a spreadsheet with all the attendee info, and they send it to one special dedicated email address. That's it. That's the trigger for everything. Now, of course, the system's smart, but it's not a mind reader. It needs the data in a very specific format so it knows what to do. That spreadsheet, it's a CSV file, and it has to have these three columns. UID, which is the unique ID for the event. The attendee's email address, obviously, and their name. No more, no less. Getting that structure right is absolutely key for the whole automation to work. And this is where you see the whole thing in action. It's like this perfectly choreographed dance. It all starts when the email lands and that attachment gets saved. That action instantly wakes up Lambda, the brain. The first thing Lambda does is go to DynamoDB, the security guard, and asks, hey, is this sender authorized? If the answer is yes, Lambda gets to work. It processes the list, making two piles, one for good emails, one for bad ones. All the good ones, they get handed off to the SNS courier to be sent out. And then, to close the loop, a final summary report gets mailed right back to the organizer. It's a beautiful, completely hands-off process. But here's the thing. This system isn't just a fast, mindless machine. It's also really smart. It's got several built-in checks to make sure everything runs smoothly and, more importantly, securely. So that first check, and this one's the most critical, it happens right at the front door. The second that email comes in, the system checks if the sender's email is on that authorized list in DynamoDB. If you're on the list, the door opens. You proceed. If you're not, the process stops, dead in its tracks. The request gets logged for sure, but absolutely zero invites are sent out. This is a huge deal because it prevents anyone from just using the system without permission. And the smarts don't stop there. The system also kind of acts like a data quality expert. It literally goes through every single line of that spreadsheet and checks the attendee info.
So if an email address looks weird or is just plain wrong, or if a name is missing, it doesn't just crash or fail silently. Nope. It carefully sets that one invite aside and keeps on going. And this is where that feedback loop we talked about is so important. After the system has gone through the entire list, it automatically puts together and emails a summary report right back to the person who started it all. This report tells them two things. First, how many invites were successfully sent out. And second, just as important, it gives them a list of every single invite that was rejected and why. This is awesome because it lets the organizer quickly fix any errors and just resubmit the ones that failed. Okay, so let's put it all together now. When you combine all these little specialized services and these smart checks, what do you actually get? What does all this really mean for that poor person who's trying to organize that giant event? Well, it means you get a system that is just incredibly powerful. It's scalable, right? It can handle 10 invites or 10,000 invites with the exact same level of effort, which is 0. It is wildly efficient. It takes what used to be hours of painful manual labor and turns it into just a few seconds of automated processing. It's reliable because all those checks prevent common mistakes. And it's traceable because everything is logged, so if something ever does go wrong, you can see exactly where and why.
And really, this is the key takeaway. Yeah, we've been talking about calendar invites, but this system, it's really a blueprint for something so much bigger. This is an example of one of those invisible engines that power our digital world. They're constantly working behind the scenes, automating all this complex stuff in ways we almost never even see or think about. And that kind of brings us to a final thought to leave you with. The next time you get an automated shipping confirmation or even just a simple calendar invite, take a second to think about the invisible engine that probably made it happen. It makes you wonder, right? What other tedious manual parts of our lives are quietly being solved right now by elegant automated systems just like this one? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.